Alabama's Gulf Shores offer visitors a rousing range of things both indoors and out. Work on your tan at the beautiful beaches. Have a picnic with your family at a scenic park. Explore wildlife preserves. Regardless of how you plan on spending your vacation, Gulf Shores has you covered. Join Travel Pug as we give you the rundown of the best things to do in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Get down to the beach. When you go to Alabama's Gulf Coast, there is no reason why you should not spend a day or two at the beach. If you have never been to a beach on the Gulf of Mexico, you are in for a treat. The sand is as white as ivory and the water is a beautiful emerald blue. Take a walk along the beach or stop to make a sandcastle. As you walk along the beach, you will see windsurfers with their bright sails flying by. Kick back and take it easy on the beach while you listen to the sound of the waves coming in. If you want to spend spring break somewhere wild, you should look elsewhere. Back in the day when college kids were on break, they would come here in droves to throw huge parties with lots of alcohol. At some point, though, the locals got tired of all the spring breakers, so the government put up signs saying no alcohol. Since the police started to enforce this rule right away, the number of drunk people quickly went down, and the beaches are back to being family-friendly. The beach's no tents and canopies rule is in effect all year, but the no alcohol rule only applies for a few weeks in the spring. So if you want to protect yourself from the sun, you'll have to bring an umbrella with you. There are miles of public beaches to enjoy in Gulf Shores, so do not forget to bring a towel and sunscreen. Go for a walk at the Orange Beach Waterfront Park. This quiet, family-friendly park looks out over Wolf Bay and has paved walking paths, a children's park with lights, a picnic area with grills, and a covered pavilion. We went to the 400-foot pier in the park to watch the sunset. Visit Gulf State Park and set up a tent. At Gulf State Park's outpost campsites, there are campsites with cots and running water. You should be fine if you just bring your most comfortable sleeping bag or comforter. There's also a canvas tent, a bug net, and a grill at each site. There are many hiking trails near your campsite, as well as the Gulf State Park Pier, miles of public beaches, many water activities, and a lot of other outdoor things to do in and around town. Visit an oyster farm and look around. If you have ever liked slurping down these fresh seafood treats, you might want to know where they come from. The Shellbank Selects Oyster Farm can be seen on a tour through a company called White Boots Charters. During your tour, you will ride in a boat with a flat bottom and learn how these sea creatures with shells are raised. After your tour, you'll probably be very hungry. Even though the tour does not let you eat all of the oysters you see, we can tell you where to eat in Gulf Shores. Keep watching to see our top choices. Get a bite to eat. Our first suggestion for a place to eat is the Woodside Restaurant in Gulf State Park. This is a great place to stop before or after riding one of the free bikes around the park, or outside the restaurant. Woodside is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you can sit inside or on the large screened in porch. There's also a section that is all outside and has games and a stage for live music. If you like seafood, you should go to DeSoto's Seafood Kitchen. Some of their best dishes are oysters, red royal shrimp, and triggerfish. CN Suds is another great seafood place. Since it began in 1975, it has become a part of the community. It is a great place to watch the sunset because it is built right into the water. And they also serve some really delicious seafood-focused food. Last but not least, we have to give a shout out to Doc's Seafood Shack, which has been serving the best fried seafood in town since 1984. Learn how to scuba dive. If you have ever wanted to learn how to swim with fish using an oxygen tank and flippers, the Open Water Scuba Certification Program at the Down Under Dive Shop can help make that dream come true. You do not have to book a flight to the Bahamas or Hawaii to experience scuba diving. During a family trip to Alabama's Gulf Shores, you can learn how to dive. Before you make your reservations, you should know that you'll first have to do the online training at home. Once you get to the coast, you can take the pool and open water diving lessons from the friendly and knowledgeable people at Down Under Divers. Pay a visit to the Orange Beach Arts Center. The Hot Shop, located at the Orange Beach Arts Center, takes pride in being Alabama's only public access glass blowing studio. Look for live glass blowing signs to get a rare glimpse into the life and work of a working glass artist. Make sure to stop by the Clay Gallery while you are there, where you can make and paint pottery. Walk the HUGH BRANYON Trail to get some fresh air and exercise. During daylight hours, hikers can access more than 15 miles of paved trails, lined with informative signs highlighting places of interest dating back to the days of Alabama's earliest explorers, settlers, and native peoples. Sand dunes, swamps, marshes, a beautiful butterfly garden, and if you are very lucky, the legendary catman who lurks in the woods await you along the trails. Maps of the trails are available on the park's website. Visit the Orange Beach Indian and Sea Museum to refresh your memory of local history. The Orange Beach Indian and Sea Museum is housed in a century-old schoolhouse and features an extensive collection of artifacts, relics, and memorabilia related to the region's indigenous and nautical history. This museum is full of interesting artifacts that will give you a new perspective on the area you are visiting, such as antique fishing and farming tools, centuries-old arrowheads, and photographs of pioneer families. The museum in Gulf Shores is not to be missed. This museum gives visitors a personal look into the early days of Alabama's Gulf Coast, with exhibits ranging from the stories of local shrimpers to the daring exploits of hurricane hunters. Fantastic displays like Portrait of a Fishing Village for Sea to Shining Sea and Pilot Town are among the many permanent and seasonal exhibits to see. After seeing everything the museum has to offer, relax with a stroll through the garden. Visit Bon Secour National Wildlife Refuge to get in touch with nature. This 7,000-plus acre wildlife sanctuary is located on the Fort Morgan Peninsula and is widely regarded as one of Alabama's most impressive natural wonders. There are miles of trails to explore and some beautiful beaches that serve as refuge. You can have a new experience on every trail you take, and the landscape will always be changing with the seasons. Both short, easy trails and longer, more difficult hikes are available. The Wildlife Refuge website has a complete schedule of events and activities that you can learn more about there. The National Naval Aviation Museum. This 300,000 square foot museum is located in Pensacola, Florida, a short drive east of Mobile. It focuses on the history of aviation during the First and Second World Wars, as well as later battles such as the Vietnam War and the Korean War, and features more than 150 historic aircraft. To find out when the world-famous Blue Angels flight team will be putting on one of their incredible air shows, visit the museum's website. Embark on a rail adventure at the FOLEY Model Railroad Museum. FOLEY is home to a fascinating museum dedicated to the glory days of the railroad industry. More than a quarter of a mile of model railroad track across 3 separate double-track routes can be found inside this museum, which is housed in a restored train depot. Amazing creativity and meticulous planning went into creating this entertaining and enlightening display. So there you have it. That concludes our list of the best things to do in Gulf Shores, Alabama. We would like to hear from you before you leave. Have you ever had the opportunity to visit Alabama's Gulf Shores? If so, what are your favorite things to do in and around the neighborhood? Let us know in the comments.